What if one of the most powerful habits you could build was learning to look for the positive in almost everything that happens to you? Not pretending bad things are good, not ignoring pain, not acting like disappointment doesn't hurt. I mean asking yourself, what good can come from this? Because I believe there are no coincidences. I believe things happen for a reason. Big things, small things, things we understand immediately, and things that make absolutely no sense while we're going through them. And I believe our Creator sees a bigger picture than we do. So when something happens that I don't like, I try not to stop at, why is this happening to me? I try to ask, what could this be leading me toward? Think about getting into a bad car accident. Your car is totaled. You're shaken up. Your plans are ruined. Maybe it creates a financial headache. There's nothing enjoyable about that. But then you realize you walked away. Maybe you have a few bruises. Maybe you're sore. But you're alive. That is a huge positive. And maybe later, that totaled car becomes the reason you finally replace it with the car you've always wanted. I'm not saying the accident itself was good. I'm saying there may be more to the story than what you can see in that moment. Or maybe you lose your job. Getting fired can be terrible. It can hit your confidence. It can scare you financially. But what if that job was keeping you from looking for something better? What if losing it forces you to apply somewhere you never would have considered? And 6 months later, you're doing something you actually enjoy. The thing that felt like rejection may have been redirection. Sometimes you don't understand that until you look backward. And it doesn't always have to be something huge. Maybe a plan gets canceled. Maybe you run late. Maybe you take a different route. Maybe you end up having a conversation with somebody you never expected to meet. And that small moment becomes important later. We call a lot of things random. I don't believe they always are. Sometimes we simply can't see yet what one moment is connected to. And here's something else I believe is extremely important. What you focus on, you get more of in your life. Think about that. If you train yourself to constantly look for everything that's wrong, you're going to notice more of what's wrong. You'll notice every setback, every disappointment, every reason something won't work. But when you deliberately start looking for the positive, something changes. You start noticing what is working. You notice opportunities. You notice lessons. You notice things you can be grateful for. You notice possibilities that were easy to miss before. And guess what happens when you focus on those positives over and over again? More positive things start showing up in your experience. Part of that is because your attention has changed. Part of it is because your state has changed. And when your state changes, you respond differently. You make different decisions. You carry yourself differently. You begin approaching life expecting to find something you can work with, instead of expecting everything to go wrong. That's what positivity means to me. It doesn't mean saying everything is wonderful. Sometimes everything isn't wonderful. It means saying, I don't like what happened, but I'm going to look for something I can take from it. Maybe it's a lesson. Maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's a new direction. Maybe the positive is simply, I survived it. You don't have to call something good in order to look for the good that can come from it. I think that's a huge difference. And this is where faith comes in to me. I don't believe we're supposed to understand everything the second it happens. We see one moment. Our Creator sees the whole picture. We see the door that closed. He knows what may be ahead. We see the setback. He knows where that setback may eventually lead us. So sometimes you have to trust before you understand. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do. That's why I try not to judge an event too quickly. Because sometimes you're judging the whole story by one chapter. You may be in the chapter where something went wrong. You may be in the chapter where you're disappointed, or where absolutely nothing makes sense. But that does not mean you know how the story ends. And some of the things that make the least sense while they're happening make perfect sense later. And this connects directly to mastery of state. You may not control every event, but you do have some control over the state you meet that event from. You can stay in, why does this always happen to me? Or you can eventually get to, I don't like this, but what can I do with it? That question gives you somewhere to go. It gives you something to build from. And it keeps one difficult moment from taking control of everything that comes after it. So the next time something happens that you didn't want, give yourself a moment before deciding that it's entirely bad. Ask, what positive can I find here? What can I learn? What could this be making room for? And if you don't know yet, that's okay. You don't always have to know immediately. Just stay open. Because I believe there are no coincidences. I believe things happen for a reason. Even when the reason makes absolutely no sense to us at the time. And even when we can't see the whole picture yet, you keep looking for the positive. Keep watching what you focus on. And keep moving forward. Because the thing you're disappointed about today may eventually become part of the reason you're grateful tomorrow. And if this message helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who may need a different perspective on what they're going through right now. And tell me in the comments, what is something that felt negative when it happened, but later led to something positive in your life? And if you want to go deeper into changing your state, your identity, and the way you approach your life, you can find all of that in my ebook, Master Your State. And the link is in the description below. Remember, your future isn't created by what you want. It's created by the state you return to every day. And please remember this. We are all created by God with purpose. Keep becoming who you were created to be. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.